Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Ricky with TechBot Solutions. Hope that you guys are all having a great start. Well, I was going to say great start to the week, but it's Sunday. So, yeah, for those that are not familiar with who it is that I am, my name is Ricky. I run the largest YouTube channel, and I run the largest private Facebook group for those who invest in the stock market. We have a little bit over 181,000 members within our free Facebook group. If you want to join, it's simply that first link in the description to stay connected for free. On top of that, again, be sure to subscribe. I do upload daily videos on YouTube. I do run the largest YouTube channel as well. So we have a little bit over 464,000 subscribers. So again, we really do appreciate all the love and the support. And if you guys like this video or enjoy this video, we'd really appreciate the thumbs up if that's okay with you guys. But all together is our Sunday Stock Talk. This is pretty much when we come together as a team and we talk about the top stocks that our group sees value. And so right here, every time that I break down a stock, all I'm going to be doing is adding the ticker symbol here. If you want me to break down the stock that, if you want me to break down a stock for you, you just have to make sure that you have it in the ticker call out format. Ismail is going to be posting that ticker symbol, ticker call out format. So be sure if you want me to break down your stock that you see value in, just to make sure that you have it in that ticker call out format, just so it makes it easier for me to understand that you already did your own due diligence and you're not going to be solely trading based off of my own opinion. Again, we have 3 rules within our group. You should never invest based on other people's opinion. You should never invest in what you don't understand, and you should always have a plan when investing. We have a lot of fun with what it is that we do, and we want to make sure that, again, we just put in we build that strong foundation in which that you guys can build off of to develop your own unique style of trading. So again, let's go ahead and get straight to the point. I don't want to take too much of your guys' time. It's Sunday. I'm sure that you guys are tired. I hope that you guys had an absolute just amazing rest of your week. And yeah, grab your popcorn. What's going on, Joe? What's up? What's up? So here we go. Let's go ahead and get started. Let's see what we have going on. Alrighty, ticker call out format. Here we go. What's going on, Tyler? So ticker MSFT. So that's Microsoft. So MSFT. Here we go. And boom. All right. So this is a 5-day analysis. And again, I want you guys to do this breakdown with me. So when looking at, I think I made it big. Yeah. Okay. And I want you guys to do this breakdown with me. Again, it's not just about what I think about these specific stocks, but based on the past 5 days, what do you guys think? Is it, a good deal? Is it a little bit on the overbought side? Looking at your plan, we could see that your support, okay. Oh, that's another one. Okay. Alrighty. So looking at the 180-day analysis, first of all, one thing that we have to become very aware of is that as of right now, it used to show signs of an uptrend. Now it's showing signs of a downtrend. How do I know that? The SMA line, which is this green line that you see right here, is pointing down. It makes sense. It's a Microsoft multi-billion-dollar tech company, right? And as the market continues to sell off, it makes sense on why Microsoft would follow as well. As of right now, it is showing signs of an uptrend. The thing that I simply want to kind of remind you is that old support levels become new resistance levels. And if you look at the overall support that Microsoft used to have right around 102, around this general price range, 102 to around 104, we could see that when it was selling off, it would bounce around this area, then it would push up, bounce around this area, and then push up, and then it consolidated here. Again, old support levels tend to become new resistance levels, and also on top of that, it's a descending pattern. So although it is pushing up, again, the very simple question, just looking at the 5-day, 5-minute chart, that you might want to ask yourself is this the best deal that I can is this the best deal that I can take advantage of? What's your goal? Is this a day trade? Is this a swing trade? This is something that you have to put together and keep in mind before taking your position. Again, you have the power to decide what you choose to invest your hard-earned money in, right? And your sole focus is to get the best deal possible. Is this the best deal possible for what it is that you want to do? If you want to day trade it, based on the past 5 days, it doesn't make much sense, right? But if you want to swing trade it, yes, it's showing signs of an uptrend. I like the confirmation that we have that the EMA line is pointing up. But again, we're not really at a good deal just due to the overall direction and due to previous patterns. It makes sense on why it can get rejected around this general area, not even talking about the RSI and the MACD, but altogether, I would need a lot more confirmation and higher highs on Microsoft before I would go in it for a swing trade. So I just wanted to explain kind of both sides. Here we go. What's going on, Millie? So EWV. So thank you again for tuning into the live stream. EWV. Here we go. It looks like it has pretty low volume. Yep, very low volume. So I personally would not trade this myself. Altogether, very consistent uptrend pattern. Looks like it peaked out last time around $37. It looks like it's been making higher highs and higher lows. The MACD is very oversold. The RSI is decent. As of right now, I like that it's in that like good deal range, but there is no confirmation of an uptrend. There's no confirmation that it's not going to continue to sell off. Who's to say that it won't continue to sell off to $25 or all the way down to this SMA line, which is this green line right here? Yes, it's been selling off, and if we look a little bit closer, we might be able to see that. But as of right now, yes, it's selling off. No confirmation of an uptrend. The MACD looks like it wants to reverse. All we have to wait for now is simply the confirmation. So let's go ahead and make sure that we don't get carried away, that we set that structure, that we wait for that confirmation, and that we feel extremely comfortable with every position that we take advantage of, right? And I think position size has a lot to do with that. So ODP, Colby Wright, what's going on, man? Thank you again for tuning in. Here we go, ODP. Alrighty, so overall low points for ODP would be around 240 to around 260. We've broken this one down before, if I'm not mistaken. We broke this one down in our last Sunday Stock Talk. And its higher price points, everything like above $3 tends to become a little bit more of a resistance. The thing that we talked about, and correct me if I'm wrong, and again, this is my opinion, it has nothing to do with like what's actually going to happen, but we've identified on the technical standpoint, look at it as a horizontal pattern. The low points, right, around 240 to 260, to the high points around 320 to 340. That makes sense. Very simple, right? Now, this thing was showing signs of a pretty consistent like uptrend pattern, and then it built a really strong resistance around this general area. The SMA line, which is this green line that you see right here, was acting as somewhat of a support. But recently, now it's no longer really trading above the SMA line. It's kind of almost now trading below it. So again, like we've said before, old support levels can become new resistance levels. And I just want to point it out. What do you guys think about the SMA line and the current direction? Do you think that, I think we might need to go a little bit further back and try to understand kind of like how it flows. But no, the MACD looks fine here. It looks like then it can continue to uptrend. It's just on the 180-day chart, I'm kind of like, I don't know. Right now we're at a price point where it's not even such a good deal. Like it's a good deal when it comes down to this price range right here from 260 to 320. I might be overthinking it. I got 2 live streams. What? All right. Give me one quick second. I think Ishmael's coming. Let me just make sure. What's up?
Well, that says $4,000 day profit. It says it's live too.
Why does it do that?
I don't know, but I just thought you should know.
Okay, but we have people streaming into this one though, right?
It should. If I try clicking on the $4,000 day, it directs it back to that, but I don't know if it counts as views.
It doesn't matter. That's all good. I appreciate it. Thank you for letting me know. Everyone's saying hello, Ismail. Sorry about that. It looks like there was 2 streams that went live. So I apologize for the inconvenience. But again, I hope that it makes sense on why I'm just not just trying to think about all the positives. So on the technical analysis standpoint and the horizontal pattern, yes, it's like a good deal right now with like where it's at right now and the resistance that it offers in 320. Like, yes, it's trending above the EMA line. It can continue to uptrend. Really, the only factor that I'm like kind of sketched out about or on edge about is the MACD, the RSI, and the SMA line. The direction looks like it might start to change. It might now start to downtrend as the overall pattern is no longer above the SMA line. It's now below it. So again, just a little friendly reminder to not just think about the positives, especially you, Colby. I know you're doing an absolute just amazing job. Just a little heads up on, I just thought that maybe that should be something that you should know to maybe not be afraid to lock in profits. If you want to wait for a pullback and wait for it to bounce off the EMA line and it pushes up to about 280, just know that the SMA line can act as a resistance. It doesn't mean that it has to 100%. It can continue to uptrend, but just as much as it could go up, it could go down as well. So just a little heads up on that, and I wish you the best on this specific trade if you end up choosing to take advantage of that position. So just a little heads up for all those that are just tuning in. If you just put down the ticker symbol, I'm not going to be breaking down the stock for you. You need to make sure that it's in that ticker call out format so I know that you you dedicated time to understand what it is that you're calling out, right? It's not just me breaking down stocks and sharing my opinion, but we want to make sure that you understand that you need to dedicate time to break down and build your own eye for value. So here we go. So ICLN, what's going on? Here we go. So pretty consistent downtrend pattern. This would not be something that I would personally trade. Let's look a little bit further back. 1 year analysis, yeah, very consistent downtrend pattern. It looks like it can start to, based on the 1 year chart, it looks like it might still have a little bit more to push up, right? Great. That's looking at the RSI and looking at the MACD. Okay, it's that push that it had on Friday. Okay, so it had a really strong push on Friday. It pushed it right around the SMA line. If you see, the SMA line has been acting as a resistance. Yes, sometimes it does break above the overall SMA line for a little bit, but altogether, it's pretty safe to say that it's like majority of the pattern is usually rejected and held below the SMA line. So because of that, this would not be something that I would want to invest in. Downtrend patterns, again, I think offer a huge form of risk. If you're someone that's struggling to consistently grow your account, if you're someone that's struggling with your entry points, I just think it would be easier to avoid downtrend patterns due to the potential risk of bag holding, and just to focus and invest in patterns that are showing signs of growth. That's the steps that I would take. And again, if you want your account to grow, it makes sense to invest in patterns that are showing signs of growth. So what is going on? Hello Flush. What's up? What's up? What's up? CIEN. Here we go. All right. I like this one. So pretty consistent uptrend pattern. Yep. The thing that I like about this is that, again, for a lot of our newer traders, it's difficult sometimes to identify a great entry point, and it's something that you're going to have to refine. You have to understand that it's going to take time to get to a point where you can do this consistently and effectively, right? So I just think it's almost like a little safeguard just to focus in patterns that are showing signs of growth. Just due to previous patterns, it most likely means that it has a higher possibility than a downtrend pattern to continue to uptrend. And that allows the newer traders that don't get in at the best price point to still come out on top. That's the whole idea behind it. It doesn't mean that it is actually going to come out on top. It just means that it can. What's going on, Chris? What's up? What's up? The only thing that I would say about this is that it looks like the MACD was already selling off, and then it received a nice little push on Friday. It looks a little bit more on the overbought side, not so much of a good deal. That's the only thing that I would kind of point out. If you look at previous patterns for CIEN, you can see that it tends to be a better deal when it bounces at or near the SMA line. We've done a breakdown on this one before. I have my alert down here, so it will alert me when it gets to that better deal range. And if this pattern continues and it continues to make higher highs, then that would be an opportunity that would be much more worth it in my eyes than trying to get in right now and hoping that it goes up to $36 when it normally doesn't always go up to that price point. So just my little 2 cents there. Huge respect from Russia, man. Oh, Roman, super happy to have you tune into the live stream. I used to have one of my buddies. He was actually Russian as well. I think his name was Roman Ibrahimov. But yeah, super. And his name was Roman, yeah. So here we go. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. Here we go. TLYS. Yeah, this is the one that was oh no. So this is Tilly's. Strong push up. Looks like it's been selling off. Overall kind of direction is still trending down. Look at that SMA line, consistent downtrend pattern. We can set our alerts and see if it overall just begins to change. Tilly's is kind of one like PacSun that I think that eventually will end up going out of business. Yeah, they just have not been, in my opinion, performing very well. It's not something I used to love. I don't know about you guys, but if you guys are in America, especially in the the West Coast in California where I grew up, I loved going to Tilly's, right? But now there's again, it's a department store and stuff like that, and I think we do so much better online. So I don't like the pattern. I have not, in the fundamental aspect, I have not seen Tilly's implement anything that would really promote its longevity as a company and stuff like that. So I think that this downtrend pattern will most likely continue, and it's been selling off pretty consistently for the past year and stuff like that. So yeah, just a little heads up. Yeah, it might be a good deal. I would like to wait a little bit more for a confirmation. And it looks like it has pretty low volume as well. So that's just something that I would be kind of like on edge about. So here we go. Ticker symbol UGAS. Jack, I don't know if you saw my video that I uploaded today. I literally uploaded it like an hour ago. And it talks about like, will DGAS push up 10% tomorrow, meaning that will UGAS push down 10% as well. And we talked about how looking at natural gas as of right now, so we can go here, go to /NG on the 1 day 1 minute chart, right? So let me pop this up. On the 1 day 1 minute chart, we saw a huge sell-off. So due to previous patterns, just to put into perspective, we saw a huge sell-off. This is where it closed on Friday. So UGAS was up on Friday, right? It closed right around 303 to 304, right? And had a huge sell-off because the future for natural gas opens around 3 to 4 p.m. Mountain Standard Time here in Arizona. The cool thing about the sell-off is that if you look at the price point, it's around this general area of 2.94, and if you look at where that was at on Friday, it's around a little bit below this, right? So that's right around 845. If we go to ticker symbol, DGAS, around 845, so around here, 845, that means that we would open at a little bit above $122. So again, based on where it closed at to about $122, that's about like 9 to 10%. That if natural gas holds at the current price point that it's at right now, DGAS will most likely open up green. So that's why I'm probably going to head to bed early today. And I'm going to want to start trading natural gas depending on the direction that it's headed as soon as the market opens. So I'm super pumped, super excited. As of right now, it doesn't look too hot for UGAS, and there's no overall confirmation for UGAS as a swing trade. I know I was talking about it, and I want UGAS to recover as much as any of you do because it has a lot of margin of profit to recover based off of the, I think, correction that it experienced the past couple of weeks. So it has a lot of margin of profit to recover, even back to the SMA line, but we just have to be realistic. It doesn't matter what we hope for or what we want. It matters like what the patterns and directions are telling us. That's one of the things that I think a lot of us are going to have to work on and refine for 2019 is to understand, and I know this sounds like a little rough, but that your opinion and your hope and your desire for what a stock should or should not do is completely irrelevant. Again, you want to have a reason for everything it is that you do, and you want to make sure that it makes sense. If you're leading it down to hope, you're leading it down to like what you just think is going to happen, there's just, again, let the charts do the talking. If you have a fundamental reason of why something is going to act as a positive or negative catalyst, then again, so be it, right? But there's a reason behind that. If you're really just going to go off of like, oh no, like you guys can't continue to sell off anymore, it's still lost so much already, to trust me, I've been in that mindset before, and it's just one that's really going to drain you and drag you along through that like upsetting roller coaster. So I hope that that was enough to give you my opinion of what I think. So again, that's just my opinion. If you don't care for it, 100%, I respect that. I just want to share that with you. So ticker symbol UNIT. What's going on? So here we go. All right. 180 day. Come on. Here we go. So here we go. It looks like MACD doesn't look too hot. RSI doesn't look too hot. It looks like it pushed up pretty aggressively. Dividends payouts was pretty recent, right? A little bit after Christmas. Let's look at a little bit closer time frames. I like that. I like how it traded on Friday. Even as a day trade, I think it did a really healthy job staying in between the middle and top VWAP. This is kind of like textbook pattern trading, especially if you're part of Learn Plan Profit. You know how I love to trade and day trade off of that VWAP indicator. If you don't know what that is, again, I do have that video in the Learn Plan Profit course. But even with like the understanding that it built a strong resistance right around like 1740, literally all day. I think like you guys did a very similar thing to this on Friday as well, and it was showing signs of an uptrend pattern. It would continue to pull back, but it would continue to push up and then pull back and push up. And it looks like the SMA line, which is the screen line right here, and the middle VWAP is something that acted as a very strong support. So really impressed by that. Let's look and take a little bit of a step back. So the 5-day 5-minute chart, nice, I like that. But then on the 20-day 1-hour chart, come on, Rick. 20-day 1-hour chart, just the SMA line, it looks like it's a little bit on the overbought side. It might be due for a pullback, especially on the 180-day 4-hour chart. It makes sense on why it can pull back. So yeah, just something to be kind of like on alert on, or on alert of, right? So here we go, and then we'll set an alert for a pullback. So I think Abdul was saying good night, right? What's going on, Abdul? Hope you have a good night, man. Thank you. So here we go, ticker symbol SYMC. All right, so SYMC, overall low points right around $18. I think that's pretty safe to say that, again, looking at kind of like the past 180 days, although it has been downtrending, it makes sense on why around $18, it tends to be a very common support. And right around, what is that, $20 plus, yes, sometimes it does go up to $22, but even $20 I think is a very common resistance. So then just asking yourself, let's say you buy in at an average of almost like 19 and sell at 20, offers about a 5% margin of profit. Where would you cut your losses and stuff like that? So I would wait for a pullback. I would still wait for a good deal. And RSI and MACD don't look kind of like in its favor right now. But if the pattern continues just based off of how it normally trades, then I think it's something that, we might want to keep our eyes on. So here we go. So AMBZ. Here we go. Strong downtrend pattern, no signs of a reversal. Looks like it also has very low volume. Yeah, I would personally, I would never trade this. I would stay completely away from it. Again, if this were to be your brokerage account, and like on Robinhood, for those that use it, I know like a lot of us don't use it, but for those that use Robinhood, just imagine if this was kind of like your chart that showed your account value and its history. This isn't something that's very attractive, right? So if this does not show signs of growth, then why would you want to invest in it, right? It's like buying an iPhone X for like $20,000. How does that make sense? That's not a good trade. That's not a good investment. You most likely won't be able to sell it for a profit just due to previous patterns. If there's a reason or there's something that that maybe other people don't, then again, all power to you. But altogether, just due to the technicals, then it just doesn't make too much sense in my eyes on why this would be a good trade. So what's going on, Captain? We got ticker symbol Gush. Here we go. All right. All right, so ticker symbol Gush is showing signs of a downtrend pattern. As of right now, it's been showing signs of it pushing above kind of like the EMA line, right? So it's been making higher highs. That's nice. Altogether, before I share something, do you guys notice a pattern here? So it sells off, sells off, sells off. It tries to recover. And then look at the MACD, look at the RSI. It just doesn't do it. And then it sells off, sells off, sells off, and then tries to recover, breaks above the EMA line, makes higher highs. And then look at the MACD, and then sells off, sells off, sells off, pushes up. Look at the MACD, look at the RSI. Do you see that pattern? Like, it's a continuous downtrend pattern. And this isn't the best price point. If you think that it's going to continue to uptrend, again, what confirmation do you need for it to indicate that it hasn't already done before? Just something that you might want to be aware of. As right now, it makes sense on why this thing can continue to downtrend. We just need to wait for the confirmation. So what I'm going to do is I think that Gush is going to continue to downtrend just due to previous patterns. I'll set my alert for the break above to see if it proves me wrong. And if it does, great. That's the beautiful thing about patience and waiting for confirmation, that if it does prove me wrong, then guess what? I can still get in it because I was patient enough to wait for the confirmation. But if it does end up selling off, just a little heads up, TRIP is the inverse ETF of Gush, and this thing will most likely push up if Gush ends up dropping. So just something that you want to be aware of. Here we go, ticker symbol NAT. All right, looking at the overall low points, so right around $2, you guys could see that based off of previous patterns, it's built a very common support. Do you see that, right? And then okay, so it pushed up quite a bit last time. Again, I like to be a little bit more on the conservative side. So right around 260, this is kind of where I would identify to be my ideal sell, not only due to previous patterns, but also the SMA line, which I think can act as a resistance. And I would wait a little bit more for a pullback. Look, that MACD looks like it can pull back before it continues to uptrend, or it might consolidate just like it's done before. And then the MACD will end up getting rejected, it'll catch up, and if it just needs a little bit more time for it to fully, go through its MACD reversal and then confirmation, and then we'll see if it continues to uptrend. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to set my alert for it to make higher highs, or if it pulls back, then great, we can simply wait. All right, let's do about 3 more, and then we'll call it a day. So 3 more. Let's do one that, so it takes fast. Let's go on, Aaron. Okay, so as of right now, we can set an alert here. It looks like it's doing some consolidation right here, kind of building a support right around $50. I would like to see this thing make higher highs and break above this kind of like SMA line. So I'm just going to set a couple alerts here. If it ends up not confirming that, then guess what? I'll set my alert for the break below the support. And altogether, it does have an up and coming earnings report on the 17th. So just something to be aware of. I don't know where your ticker symbol is. All right, ticker symbol DS. Continuous downtrend pattern. Again, just the MACD isn't really in favor either. Do you see how, okay, so right here, when it pushed up, it was showing signs of an uptrend, it pushed up, and then look at the MACD, how it was pushing up, and then the MACD started to sell off, and then the pattern followed as well. Again, as of right now, we already got the 1 bar confirmation that it might start to make lower lows, and altogether, it's a downtrend pattern. The SMA line is pointing down as well, and this thing is something that normally continues to make lower lows and lower highs as well. So altogether, just not something that I would be a huge fan of, but again, all power to you. So one thing Ricky does very well is making all this look easy. I think it just comes down to like experience, right? It's kind of like watching maybe like a baseball player, professional baseball player, or a professional skateboarder, right? They make it look very like easy to like skateboard, right? Because it's something that's like their profession. It's something that they do every single day, that they practice time after time. And I think that's something that should be like admirable, right? When it becomes almost like second nature. Just think about something that you're really good at that maybe other people might struggle to kind of catch on right away. There's a learning curve, and almost like any special kind of like, not talent, but kind of like profession. But that's a beautiful thing about it. If you're passionate about it and you see value in what it is that you're doing, then you just need to dedicate a little bit more time, and again, be very focused on long-term goals, not just trying to like make it or break it, because when you make it or break it, you could really discourage yourself, and that's the last thing that we want. So, but yeah, thank you again for the kind words. So NTGR. We'll do one more after this. Continuous downtrend pattern. Yes, it's sold off, and it might be a cup on handles pattern, but neck here. Wow. Okay. So this one might be interesting just because it's sold off very aggressively. So there's probably some form of news that drove the price down. But just as much as it could go up, it could go down as well. So because of that, I'm just going to set a couple alerts, and we'll follow up with it then. So Apple. Okay. So you want me to look at the weekly chart. Okay, so the 3-year 1 week approaching the SMA line. Interesting, right? Okay. Still, overall, I get it, but there's no confirmation of an uptrend. As of right now, it's still selling off. Its overall direction is continuous lower lows and lower highs. I wanted to go up as much as I think all of you guys, but until there's some form of confirmation that's shown, or break of pattern that it's now showing signs of an uptrend, I think that's what's important. So again, and I hope that this thing makes sense, but I'm going to put this over here. But it's like, you guys are so good at identifying patterns, and you guys are so good at identifying when something is like a good deal and stuff like that. And the thing is that I think a very common mistake that I made, that a lot of newer traders make as well, is when you identify a pattern and when you identify that something is like kind of like Apple right now. On the 3-year 1 week chart, it shows signs of a potential support on the SMA line, or you identify some form of pattern that might, that the charts might react to. That's great, but you have to understand they might not just as well, right? And I think that's the thing that will set you apart. It's that you won't automatically assume, that you shouldn't automatically assume what you think or what you hope is going to happen, but that you're someone that waits for confirmation. Just think about like everyone that's very well versed within their profession. They're pretty like cool, calm, and collected usually, right? That's, I think, a very admirable kind of like practice and habit to have. And it's something that like I have to continue to work on every single day, and it's something that you will slowly have to refine as well. And it's just building that confidence that as of right now, yes, it can reverse, but why try to buy the very bottom, right? Like why buy the bottom when you know that it can continue to downtrend just due to previous patterns? What is it showing now that it hasn't shown before, that it means that it's going to like reverse or show actual signs of an uptrend? Nothing other than you just looking at it, and at this very moment, it's something that was brought to your attention. Don't hope to get lucky. Don't just think that it's just going to work out for you. Just be someone of reason. That's the biggest thing. Just have a reason for everything it is that you do. And I think that long term, as long as you again stay according to like certain criteria and best practices that you think are effective for you, and there's a reason behind everything that you do, that you should be well off, right? But yeah, that's really just it. So I know that there's a lot of people still breaking down or asking me to break down a couple of stocks. I do want to remind you that if you post it, if you're part of Learn Plan Profit, you can simply post your top stock. So I'm going to go right here to our Discord chat. So feel free to go to like the Learn Plan Profit Discord chat and then go to group alerts. Just be sure to tag me after you put down your ticker symbol, and just tag me. If you're part of TechBud Solutions, which is our free group and Discord group, just go on over to watch list and then just be sure to tag me. And that's really just it. So post it in the ticker call out format, tag me, make sure that you dedicated time to find this like yourself and that it makes sense to you. And that's really just it. I'm super pumped. I'm super pumped for this week. Natural gas with that huge sell-off. If that downtrend pattern continues, then the really beautiful thing about that is that we'll be able to trade and take advantage of the opportunity on degas. Again, I'm just working on this day by day and not really going on any swing trades as of right now. It doesn't mean that I won't later. Again, I'm here to take advantage of opportunities when they present themselves and when they make sense to me. And if they make sense to me, great. And if they don't make sense to you, then guess what? The beautiful thing about trading is that you get to decide what you choose to invest your hard-earned money in. I also do want to remind you, it just got brought to my attention that there's a bunch of fake Twitter accounts, there's a bunch of fake YouTube accounts, there's a bunch of fake Instagram accounts, there's a bunch of fake social media accounts that are pretending to be me. I want you to know that my only like social media accounts are listed right down in the description. I have one Instagram account that's of my name. I have like 87,000 followers there. My only YouTube channel, I'm verified on YouTube. And then on Twitter, it's TechBud Solutions. Just be sure that you know that I never ask for money. I never ask for personal information. I don't trade for others. And if you get contacted by any of these people like impersonating me, screenshot it, direct message me with my real account, or send it to us at info@techbudsolutions.com. And we're really trying to crack down on all these different accounts, but we're only a small little team. So if you can simply report them as they are impersonating me, that would really mean the world, just to make sure that we keep those kind of like spam accounts out. But yeah, thank you guys again so much for your time. I wish you guys an amazing and beautiful week. Let's lock in profits. Let's stay consistent. Let's be extremely selective with what you choose to invest in. I hope I earned your thumbs up in this video. And just for all those that, Ken Brawler, saw a Twitter account with it's like TechBud Solutions without the H. 100% that's a fake account. Please report them. I don't have WhatsApp or anything like that. I want you guys all to know that. But for all those that tuned in for this entire live stream, so we're about 33 minutes in. We're actually going through these Sunday stock talks much quicker. So for those that want to watch me trade live as soon as tomorrow, so that means that you can see me buy and sell stocks. You can ask me questions like this, or it's kind of like this, same layout where I'm trading live, I'm answering questions in real time. If you want to see me trade live, all you have to do is not the first link, but the second link in the description. That's our Learn Plan Profit website. You can learn a little bit more about what's included. If you like my trading style, if you like the way that I break things down and it makes sense to you, I would love the opportunity to work with you. And I can offer you guys $30 off for those that want it. And it's literally promo code 30 off. So 30OFF, and you'll save $30 off the Learn Plan Profit course. So let's kickstart 2019, right? I'm going to make sure that I'm going to hold each and every single one of you accountable. Let's make sure that we stay in contact with one another. So if you just started the course or if you're just about to start it, be sure to take notes. Don't rush through it, and make sure that it's like a learning process. Like, you need to understand it. It's not something that you're just going to be able to like learn and jump into right away. Like, be empowered that it's going to take time, and be empowered about like what you're about to learn, because again, it could be one of the most beautiful things ever, where you have the luxury of being able to make money by investing money, but you need to earn that. So what is it that you're going to implement this 2019 that's going to set you apart from the 90% of people who lose money, and be that 10% of people who actually make money trading in the stock market? That's a question that you should ask yourself. Set that structure, set those rules, and let's make that money, right? Thank you guys again for your time. Continue working hard, continue following your dreams, let your passion be your judgment of success, and like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a great note. Take it easy, team.